I was. All right. Well, today's a very long title.
That's one of the longest.
I tried to fit into the slide, and here I am, and I had to reduce the font size. So, ensuring continuation of seeds of Buddhahood, upholding the path, and transmitting the Dharma. And so this 5 sentences on today's initial verse from Master. And usually it's only 3 or 4 lines. So those who accept the Buddha's teachings are called Buddha children. And obviously this refers to the metaphor on this particular parable in chapter 4. They uphold the noble path and transmit the Dharma lineage. So in this context, in the parable, it's talk about the father and the son. And obviously referring to the poor son being referring to the Buddha's children. And also transmitting the wealth from the wealthy father and to the poor son. And this is the metaphor describing passing on down the Dharma lineage. This is general term for bodhisattvas. And also for the same reason the Master is passing down the teachings to all of you. And that's why Master referred all of you as bodhisattvas. So by following the Buddha's noble teachings, they ensure that the seeds of Buddha would continue on uninterrupted. And this is obviously then the Dharma can be passed on even after all time. But we also need to bear in mind that based on what we understand from Buddha's prediction, is we are now in the Dharma degenerating age. This will last for, some say 5,000 years, some say 10,000 years. So, but it will come to an end some point in time and in the Kalpa. But then by the time within the same Kalpa, there will be a 5th Buddha that will come, and that's Maitreya. And this after when Dharma is no longer around. That's why Maitreya has to come back. So everyone can be said to replete with the Buddha nature, and that's what, and this is one of the key teaching in the Lotus Sutra, that all of us have the Buddha nature. So in Master's explanation, as long as we take the Dharma to heart and make use of it, we can be called Buddha children who uphold the noble path, not just any path, but the noble path, and transmit the Dharma lineage. So we call ourselves Buddha children. We should have a sense of mission. Sense of mission to what? Sense of mission to pass on the Dharma lineage. And why is it noble path? Because this is a path that leads for ordinary beings to become noble beings. So noble beings are beings that live for others, and it's like bodhisattvas. So the more Buddha children they are, the more seed Buddhahood they will be. So one gives rise to infinity, and infinity arises from one. And this follows on from the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, of course. So actually all of us from the past up until now have always been a Buddha children, and we delighted only the small vehicle. And so in some ways it's also referring to us that in the past we have been have the affinity to walk on the way of the Buddha. And but we have not progressed as much as we should, because we were only holding on to this small vehicle teaching. Our hearts delighted in the great, we would have to resort to seek the great Dharma vehicle. And here, so we are now on this great vehicle Dharma, and that we have therefore, we must always emphasize to us to continue to uphold the aspirational vow, so that when we do come back in the future life, that we'll continue from where we have left off. So when the Buddha first taught the Dharma, those with great capacities were able to understand, whereas those with capacity could not and remained stuck. So when the Buddha taught, not only did he teach the provisional, at the same time he taught the truth. And this was the greatness of his wisdom. So obviously, what is in this particular paragraph is stated here is that the Buddha knew, obviously, that we have limited capabilities. And if one were to jump straight on to the great vehicle Dharma, people find it hard to understand. So imagine now, even despite that, those disciples who had following the Buddha and we taught through the sutra, 5,000 left. So this is a context in which the state of our mind, in much the same way, and sometimes when we listen to the Dharma, let me speak about myself. I fall asleep. But because my capability is limited, so when my capability is limited, then I don't have the attention span to listen to the Dharma. And so this is a state of mind that I'm in. And so therefore, that's the reason why for to get the attention so that the mind of one can resonate to the teachings. And that's why the Buddha gave the provisional, so that slowly we can grow in our understanding to accept the ultimate truth. So lessons learned. Those who ensure the seeds of Buddha would continue are never cut off are called true Buddha children. So share your insights with everyone, share them in a proper way. Others will slowly come to understand you and you will gradually create affinities. And this is so for us to be called the Buddha children and passing down the lineage, and it's then for incumbent upon you to share the Dharma. So the Dharma is like water. No matter what kind of water, when it sips into something, it's still water. You know, whether it's water in the stream, river, or well, it's still H2O. The nature of water is one. So much the same way, what this master is trying to tell us is that the Buddha nature is always there. Whether you are a murderer, whether you're going to be a thief, or whether when you are in practice, you still have the Buddha nature. And all of us, including one in the hell realm, as Buddha nature. And we listened, we heard what the master say a few lessons ago, that the Buddha formed that aspiration and how to pull the cart with the skin to help us, one who was weak, and made the aspiration. And when he was struck down by the yaksai, they rebirth in the heavenly realm. So the Buddha nature in all realms of all sentient beings are there. So the infinite superior wondrous Dharma doors could all enable sentient beings to practice the Dharma in accord with the Buddha mind. So if everybody one has the Buddha nature, then therefore it's fundamental understanding that one can accept the Dharma. The question is, how does one eliminate those incrustations for one to have the Dhamma to permeate into the intrinsic nature? So to achieve perfect enlightenment, we should know that if we had practiced the great vehicle Dharma, in accord with the Buddha's mind and practices, with this a true Dharma naturally, we will be able to attain that enlightenment earlier on. So this in this context, about the water, and if we have the Buddha nature, if we allow the Dharma to slowly permeate within us, and then slowly then we can get to illuminate the Buddha nature within us and to shine through. And so therefore, in much the same way that we practice, we then help others to walk the path and share the Dharma, and so that they too can find a way to be liberated. So in this contemplation of a short one today. So teachings must be properly transmitted, are not casually transmitted and trying to resonate to what the Buddha children should be doing. So therefore, one must be mindful in transmitting the teachings with the right time, right place, and right condition to the right people. And why is it, oh, but then everybody has the Buddha nature, and therefore we transmit to everybody. So if 5,000 of the disciples walked out and Buddha never called them back, and remember a master said, and there was what was explaining when one was asking those people who left, and the Buddha said that it's better that they leave if their mind are not able to resonate and accept the teaching. At least they don't, most people who cannot resonate, they do not disparage the teachings. So that's why one has to have the affinity to be able to accept the Dharma. So unless one is an honest and sincere seeker of the truth, one cannot easily accept the Dharma. So and that is, I'm sure you have come across a number of people when they want to speak of the Dharma, say, oh, thank you very much, and they will walk away. And that's the way it is. And this is a part of affinities, that one will have the mindset. I mean, how can you tell someone that this path is about losing things that you have and losing about attachment? That alone is very difficult for people to understand. When the world has been teaching them to start accumulating and start amassing things, and here we are telling them the opposite. So the right place is obviously the way place. The place, the way is being taught, and the way is being the way of the Buddha. So the right time is always scheduled for the affinity to arise, and you know when the right time is, and the right condition will come. So on relationship, this will is a little bit long today on relationship. Here, that we all, I just spoke about having the affinity, we walk the path, transmit the Dharma lineage. But obviously in the process of which, just in a very much the same way as in our life, we meet spiritual friends, and we form spiritual relationship with others. But at some point in time, this relationship will depart. So today I'm going to carry on from the other contemplation and share with you a little bit about departing relationship. So death is a teacher of impermanence. Death is just another life becoming. And it's also your benefactor to guide you in your practice, is it not? So we know that in the Dharma about impermanence, and that is the truth. So that if that is the truth, obviously that is a teaching in death. So death is just another becoming on the maturity of our karma. And it must be then be my benefactor to guide me in my practice, so that I can move on to the next stage of my practice. And I've done what I can. I learned what I could, and therefore be able to move on to the next. So why do the people, matters, and objects in life mean to you when you face death? Nothing. But the thing is that we, in the way the world works, and this whole phenomena, people, matters, and objects, we're so afflicted, or we can be so attached to it. But in the fourfold mindful, the master say, there's no self in this. So this phenomena has no self. So therefore it's nothing. What does it mean? So you just want to cultivate goodness. As you all shared this morning, and all the one who shared, you say about solidarity fund. The path has taught the goodness of virtues and wisdom. Everyone you meet will result in a departure, and that's a fact. And life is impermanent. So practice every departure with someone in life has an embracement of a good affinity. When we know that at some point in time that we need to depart, and here we are, and we are here in a moment of time. So this life may be seemingly long, but in the context of the kalpa, it's not even a split second. So you can do so with the mind that everyone who is who is in your life, and everyone you meet is your spiritual family factor, spiritual friend, guide, guardian, or teacher. And that's what we should do. You want to hold on to that affinity. So be continuously harmonious with people, matters, and objects. Okay, brothers and sisters, thank you.
And intoxicated, Brother Chin's contemplation. Yeah, indeed, amazing sharing by Brother Chin.